Okay, you hear that theme music? Yeah, can you feel it? Aren't you
Yep.
hype?
Yep.
All right, we are so back. It is week 4 of the Other League podcast, and I have a special co-host today. We have none other than Wesley Fall. Wesley, how you doing?
Doing great. Glad to be here. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, and I appreciate the enthusiasm. I know that intro music is electric for you.
Yeah,
Uh,
completely. Heard nothing.
yeah, exactly. One of these days we'll get that sorted out. But until then, cheers, man. Welcome to the podcast. Here's what I'm drinking. Can you see? Oh, you got yourself a Yingling?
Oh yeah, here for the Ryder Cup, America.
Fair enough. You know what I'm drinking? Can you guess based on the logo and the color?
Yeah, probably a Yellowhammer.
It is 100% a Yellowhammer because, in addition to Wesley Hate Week, it is also Georgia Hate Week for me. And just a special for the YouTube viewers on the podcast, I want to show you what Michaela got for me for my birthday, just in time for the Georgia game. Check it out.
Those are sick. As much as I hate Bama, those are sick.
Yeah, aren't they cool? So
Yeah.
if you want to see my special gift from my girlfriend Michaela, please go to the YouTube channel and check that out. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, Wesley, how are you celebrating Wesley Hate Week?
How am I celebrating? Just really trying to motivate the team, get them ready. We have a new in-division rivalry with Corey. Love it. Replacing the Corey Bowl. One might even say that this is more hype than the Iron Bowl, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. So we're excited.
You'll love to see it. Now, how do you feel about rivalries in this league in general? Because we've seen a Dragon Bowl multiple times. We've even seen Dragon Bowl in the playoffs, which was exciting. I think you and Corey have a freshly minted rivalry that's happening.
Yeah, it's good. Right now it's good fun. It's nice that it's in division. The Dragon Bowl's a cross division rivalry. So glad we got one of those. Just, waiting for the West, two people in the West to start mucking it up. So we'll see who comes out of there.
I think it could happen. It makes sense for me and Christopher Glennon to have our own little rivalry. It could be the brother from another mother bowl or the
Yep.
Christopher game, the Christopher showdown of some kind. Could be the Clash on I-70 is a good name since he's over in Salt Lake and we're all in Denver. So we got plenty of options.
Yeah, I like that one. The Chris Clash. I can't even say it.
The
Tongue
the the
twister.
crisscross.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could work. All right. So, in today's podcast, we're going to go through week 3 and some of the results that we had. We're going to talk about the high score and the low score of the previous week. We're also going to talk about the chug list and who owes us a chug in this league. We have one relenting participant and then two who might actually be good for it. We are going to talk about the current standings, and I'm going to give you win totals for both the East and the West divisions. And we have a special segment because of our co-host today. We have Wesley's dark horse. He's going to pick his favorite of the 0-3 teams to make a comeback, and then we're going to get into the waivers. We're going to grade some trades, and then we are due to shame some of you for your Sunday parlay legs that didn't hit. And by some of you, I mean myself included, unfortunately. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into that week 3 recap. So looking at week 3, we had some incredible matchups, including a few that came down to the wire. We're going to start here with, let's start with a higher scoring matchup. Wesley Fall versus Alex Dragon. Wesley Fall finishing ahead with 145 points. You were our high scorer of the week and beat out a very high scoring team in Alex Dragon, putting up 120.
Yeah, it was a highly anticipated game going into it. Two highest projected, I believe, for the week. Really came down to Monday night. Put up 75 points by 3 players to push me over the edge. So that was insane to see. Um, Alex's team's good. Definitely going to be seeing him again later, and it was a crazy matchup. So look forward to playing him again.
Super fun matchup with a high score on your team of David Montgomery. Fun fact, David Montgomery came through for me in a real nail biter. We'll talk about that matchup dead last. But David Montgomery putting up 29.4 points for you. So great performance from Monty and really good win. Another high performing team here. We actually have our newcomer, Nick Gravely, putting up 134 against Scott Sharp, who only scored 108. Nick Gravely's team led by Garrett Wilson. What'd you think about that matchup for Nick Gravely, now sitting at 2-1 in the East?
Yeah, so for Nick, it's high highs, lows, lows. It seems like week one did great. Week two, team didn't even show up. We were like, did the worst team come back? Are they already back? And then week three turns it around again, super high scoring. So his team's interesting. We're going to see how he can keep it together. Coming in with the worst team from last season and trying to make a turnaround is always tough to do. So we'll see what happens. And then for Scott, all you got to say is Cincy. Like, what are we doing? Don't touch Cincy. So, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, Cincinnati is so strange. I have no idea how to play that offense. I've seen a lot of trade activity involving Chase Brown and some other leagues. In Jamar Chase being a top pick too, like it is so strange to see what people are doing with that offense without Joe Burrow.
Yeah, no, it's tough. And he rolled with their defense too, which is always going to be tough for a team that doesn't really have a quarterback. Can the defense stay off the field? So it was some choices by him. So we'll see how he adjusts moving forward.
All right. So Scott's team led last week by AJ Brown, who finally put up some really good points. I did make a couple trade offers to him to see if I could peel AJ Brown off of him. And then for Nick Gravely, one of my favorite players on his team is actually the tight end Jake Ferguson, who's just getting nonstop volume from Dak Prescott. Our next matchup we have is Alex Orbeck. No, I take that back. Our next matchup we are going to talk about is Nicotine Kills from Pat Dragon, with a pretty stacked lineup if you look at the names, but only putting up 86 points against Sweet Mahomes, Alabama, Corey Eller's team. So we got Corey Eller putting up 133, led by the man himself, Jonathan Taylor. Go ahead and tell us what you thought about this matchup here.
Yeah, you took some of my points right there off the bat. I mean, it's tough to win games when your stars aren't stars. So that's a tough look there for Nicotine Kills. But with that being said, he does have some stars. So Henry gets rid of the yips. Saquon turns it around. His team is going to be a tough team to go against. And then for Corey, Bucks D was stellar. And then Jonathan Taylor, is he a steal in the second round? A second round steal?
Is a second round pick, can they be a steal, or are you just getting good value for what you put in?
I mean, he's the number one running back, so you would think he'd go first round, right? So I don't know. It's insane. It's insane. I knew he'd be better, but I didn't think he'd be that good. So great draft pick there.
Yeah, can I tell you what I thought about the Colts offense going into the draft? I did not think we would get Danny Dimes being as good as he is. I don't know if he's going to come crashing back down to earth, but as long as they have a good Danny Dimes throwing the ball, Jonathan Taylor gets room to run. And he is, I thought for sure they would stack the box against Taylor all year long because of their quarterback situation. And that has just not been the case.
Yep, you're totally right. Danny Dimes looks elite.
Wild to me. Yeah. Once again, I'm waiting for regression to come for him very soon. But until then, they're riding it out. So yeah, Pat Dragon's team looking strong based on name value, but just some underperforming stars. And then, like you said, Jonathan Taylor putting up the Tampa Bay defense, the second highest scoring player on Corey Eller's team. So definitely worth the pickup there for Tampa Bay. Oh, yeah. Our next matchup that we're going to talk about, we are going to talk about Alex Orbeck, our low scorer of the week, going up against Christopher Glennon. This was a West Division matchup. Now Alex Orbeck sitting at 0-3 after only putting up 82 points to Christopher Glennon's 105. This was a defensive battle. So low scoring victor here at 105 for Christopher Glennon. What'd you see?
Yeah, I mean, Christopher Glennon, one player, Jalen Hurts. That's all you need to know. That's what carried him through that week. He had a huge week. Great job. And then for Alex's team, his team hurts. Every single week, he has some major injury. I mean, I love the makeup of his team, to be honest, but he just has the injury bug right now. So we'll see if he can get out of that hurdle.
Yeah, really tough. And of course, on Alex Orbeck's team with Kyler Murray, I think his team really, because he has Kyler Murray, it also hinges on the performance of Marvin Harrison, who we actually saw buck up and put together a performance and hopefully shake off some ghosts in the Thursday night football matchup. To your point about Jalen Hurts carrying Christopher Glennon's team to this victory, Jalen Hurts put up 29. The next highest score on that team was Chris Olave with 15. So a difference of 14 points between the highest scorer and the rest of the team there.
Yeah, biggest surprise there too is he didn't have a concussion.
Honestly,
So
and as a Saints fan, one, and a Chris Olave investor, in that my only one really good graded NFL card that I have is a Chris Olave PSA 10. I want him to do good so bad, and it is just not worth the $40 cash that I paid for that card because I know he's going to go out with a concussion and just retire.
yeah, totally agree.
Um, so another point related to Alex Orbeck's matchup. Alex Orbeck was our lowest scorer of the week. I did text him to see if he wanted to participate in today's podcast and maybe make good on his chug that he owes us. And the two responses I got were nah and I do not consent. So
That
I
sounds
don't think
about right. That checks
so
out.
I think he's gonna fight that for the rest of the year. But if there's anyone else who thinks this is a fun tradition and we should carry it on in the league, I'm going to go ahead and reach out to two individuals from weeks 1 and 2 who could owe us a chug and make good on it to go ahead and put some pressure on Alex Orbeck. Nick Gravely in week 2 put up a low score of the week, and Corey Eller in week 1 put up a low score. So if I could get video from both of you chugging your beer or doing your shots, however you would like to make good on the bet, go ahead and send those in and you might get featured on next week's podcast. So love to hear from you. Go ahead and send those in and let's put some peer pressure on Alex Orbeck and see how much longer he can keep this up. Our final matchup that we're going to recap from week 3, my beloved Toph's Tankers, who I did not think, once again, this was part of a multi-year rebuild. I was not expecting to be 3-0, but you best believe I was sweating out that Lions game to end the week. I had Jahmyr Gibbs on the other side of this matchup, just putting on points against me. And our matchup ended up being decided by, looks like 1.12 points total. I ended up beating Gavin by from 112 to 111. And it was that David Montgomery touchdown that actually sealed his fate, because that is the one Lions player he does not have on offense.
Yeah, it was great for me. But yeah, no, that's the because he just messaged. He's like, I need an Amara 35-yard pass. What is it?
And it happened.
A 25-yard pass. It was like,
happened.
Oh my, yeah. So that was crazy. But Gavin's team doesn't look bad either. The issue for him is that all the points that were on the bench for him, couple lineup adjustments, and he might have smoked you last week. So that was crazy. And then on your side, is Caleb elite?
Dude, Caleb Williams. Hold on. Are my keepers actually not dog shit?
Yeah, what?
I told you, between Brandon Aubrey and Caleb Williams, my keepers might actually not have been the worst thing ever. Every single one of you gave me shit about it in the draft, but here you guys didn't see the vision. I told you.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go with your own gut, and I'm glad it's working out for you.
It is for now. I do think my Dak Prescott keeper is going to burn me, because without CeeDee Lamb, I don't see this working out for the Dallas Cowboys in general.
Yeah, that's going to be tough recovery for them.
Yeah, that's going to be brutal. But yeah,
biggest thing for that matchup though, like you said, it was 1.12 points. Feels like a small amount. Can't mean that much, right? Oh, it means a lot. You got one team that went to 3-0 and one team that went to 0-3. So that 1.12 might be small, but for some of us, it looks like Mount Everest. So
yeah, and related to that, let's go ahead and talk about the current standings between the East and West divisions. Hey, Wesley, I'm just going to go ahead and cheers you, buddy, because you and I are the only two undefeated teams in this league.
Let's go.
Let's go. You'll love to see it. Oh, that Yellowhammer tastes so much better knowing that I'm sitting undefeated atop the West division. You've got Toph's Tankers sitting at 3-0, not tanking at all. Just win, baby. Christopher Glennon at 2-1. And then Bauer Power 1-2. And then two 0-3 teams in the West. Nicotine Kills and Rage Against the A-Chan, both sitting at 0-3, currently winless in the West. Over in the East, we have our very own co-host Wesley Fall, leading that division 3-0. And then three teams at 2-1. So Dragon D's Football, Sweet Mahomes, Alabama, and TD Feelers at 2-1. Bringing up the rear in the East is Gavin Gilmore at 0-3.
Yeah, the East. How about the East? We're looking good over there. The thing about that that's also scary is that one slip up, you can move from first to last real quick. So
Yeah.
we'll see how
Related
that goes.
related to that, so the East, if there was ever a discussion about whether the East is the best division or the West is the best division, I'm actually going to start keeping a win total for you. So as of now, in the divisional matchup, the West currently has 6 wins amongst its 5 teams. And in the other division, in the East, you guys have piled up 9 wins so far. So as of now, the East is beating the West 9 wins to 6. I am curious if we want to do maybe a division title. I think that could be a lot of fun going forward. So get in the group me. Tell me if you guys want to do like a Beast of the East and Best of the West title that has some type of either payout or trophy. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be a ton of fun too. I was saying earlier, this is one of the only leagues I'm in where there's division pride. So I think that's super cool. We add another element to it, really get people more invested. And like I said, I think the last thing we'd be missing at that point is what's the inner rivalry on the West side. Y'all got to lock it down.
Yeah, so we do need a rivalry on the West side. I think me and Christopher Glennon could probably spice things up a little bit. We're 2 contenders this year, and we have the name value, just like the Dragon Bowl. We could do the Christopher Cross, the Christopher Clash, something like that. I pitched to Wesley the Clash on I-70, and to anyone who lives out here in the West Division, we all know that there's always a crash on I-70 that goes from Salt Lake to Denver. So that could be a pretty good rivalry between me and Christopher Glennon. So maybe we'll have to amp that up when we do face each other.
There you go.
Wesley, tell me a little bit about some of these 0-3 teams because we have 3 teams that are looking for their first win in week 4.
Yeah. So I looked through all three of their rosters. Don't hate them, to be honest. So it's wild that they're 0-3. Um, if Alex Orbeck can win this week, he's going up against Gavin, by the way, which we'll get into a little bit more. So an 0-3 clash, which is huge.
Oh no,
But
that means we're guaranteed an 0-4 team.
yeah, we are. It's rough,
All
rough out
right,
there.
hit him with those trade proposals. Hit him.
Exactly. But if he can pull it off, he has so much depth that I think he'll be stealing some wins during the bye period when everybody has players on buys. So if he can get the ship going, he's not out. And then you have Gavin, and I think he's probably in the worst spot right now, but it's not due to his roster. The East is just looking so dominant to get into a playoff spot. He's going to have to really turn it around and get some wins going and knock some people off on the East side to make up some ground. And then Pat, stars got to be stars. If they turn it around, he has the roster too. So I think it's probably, Pat's looking the best, but if Alex can squeak out that win this week, then his team might be in the best position too. Again, it's nothing against Gavin's roster. I just don't know with the East having so many wins already, how easy it'll be to climb that mountain. So we'll see how the season plays out.
All right, so go ahead and tell me who is the official Wesley's dark horse going into week 4.
Oh, that's tough. I think I'm going to go with Pat Dragon.
That hurts me. I'm facing him. What's wrong with you? You're telling me Trey Benson's 10 points wasn't enough to fend off a star-studded lineup from Pat Dragon?
Nope, not at all. And maybe there's a little self motivation there to try to be the only 4-0 team.
Okay, all right, yeah, you're gonna try and
Biased.
go after me while we're at the top of the league. Well, speaking of Wesley's dark horse, Nico Teen Kills, let's go ahead and get into the free agent offers report, our waiver report going into this week. Nico Teen Kills, he mentioned it in the group me. Pat said that he might have overpaid a little bit for Trey Tucker. $48 of a $100 fab budget going into Trey Tucker chasing that 40-point game. The next highest offer, there wasn't one. There were no other offers on Trey Tucker. So he blew $48. Could have gotten him for the Puka Nakua special for $1 had he known that we were all just going to pass on chasing a 3-touchdown game from Trey Tucker in Las Vegas.
Yeah, big thing with that too is not only did he overspend since nobody else put a bid in, he has nothing but receivers on his bench too. So he's got to make some trades to really make that fab worth it at that point.
Yeah, so other notable fab spends. We had Gavin spending $15 on Geno Smith, also in Las Vegas. We had Alex Orbeck spending $11 on Hunter Henry. We had Gavin spending $5, replacing James Conner with Woody Marks, the second running back out of Houston. And we had multiple bids, $3 and $1, both on the Lions defense going into next week. Bauer Power wins that one over Nick Gravely. And then Sweet Mahomes, Alabama, putting $1 on the Texans defense. And Nico Team Kills not getting the Vikings defense for $1 because he didn't have the money because he spent $48 on Trey Tucker.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So wait, hold on. Just to be clear, does that mean Pat Dragon? I haven't confirmed this. Does that mean Pat Dragon does
Yeah,
not have any money left?
that is correct. Just confirmed it. He's at zero. I didn't even realize
Incredible.
that.
Couldn't spend $1 on the defense because he spent $48 on Trey Tucker. If Trey Tucker goes out and just puts up a dud for the rest of the year because it was a flash in the pan, I will never let him live it down.
That's hilarious.
That's good. All right, let's talk about some trades that happened in this league. So we have two trades we're going to talk about. The first one is Bauer Power and Rage Against the Achan both trading to try and bolster their rosters. We had Scott trading away a quarterback in Brock Purdy and receiving a rookie running back in Omari and Hampton. 1-for-1 trade. Wesley, what do you think about this one?
Pretty fair. I want to try to keep some relationships intact here, so I think Alex won that one. If you're looking to trade later this season, let me know.
You're literally just the chilling effect because you just want to be able to trade with Alex Orbeck later. I know
So you got to do what you got to do, okay?
I will say, so for those of you that are wondering how to get trades done in this league, I love the fact that this league is very active on trades. I feel like this league, not only do we have divisional pride, we have a lot of competitive waiver wire ads. I feel like with a short bench, there's always people on the waiver wire that are worth adding to your roster. And we also have a lot of people that want to get trades done just for the sake of getting trades done and feeling like a general manager. Just text somebody, text them, reach out, like DM them, however you need to do it. I will say I'm making fun of you for maintaining a relationship, just been keeping your mouth shut just so you can get a trade done later. But I literally did the same exact thing with a potential rival of mine. We talked about a potential trade, we went back and forth, and it didn't work out at the time, but we both said, hey, let's keep this channel open for down the road. So who knows? You might see something come out of that relationship later. Another trade we're going to talk about here, the only other one that happened this week, we had Hill for Hall. So that is Gavin trading away Tyreek Hill to Pat Dragon for Brees Hall. Wesley, what'd you think about this trade here?
Yeah, I think player for player, it's pretty even trade, to be honest. Two guys that could have high upside if they get it together, but they could also have low downside. So player for player, pretty good. I will say, though, overall, I think Gavin wins this side of the trade by a thin margin because, again, Pat just doesn't need a wide receiver. He has so many of them.
Yeah, and if I'm looking at Gavin's roster here, so keep in mind, Gavin's sitting at 0-3, gets Brees Hall and immediately starts him. I don't know necessarily if Pat's getting that same immediate start value out of Tyreek Hill. What do you think about the value based on roster makeup between these two?
Yeah, totally agree with you. I think it totally helps Gavin's roster a lot more. If you look at his bench, he has Johnson, which is a stellar wide receiver on the bench. He also has Metcalf, who's stellar on the bench. So, getting a running back was definitely a need of his. So it's going to help him with the starting lineup for sure.
I might need you to carry the podcast for a little bit so I can put in a trade offer for QJ. Yeah, I might need you to host for like 30 seconds so I can go ahead and type that up.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I hope he does okay, but not that good because I have Keenan Allen. So
yeah, fair enough. All right, let's get into the Sunday parlay. So this is going to be a new segment, and I guarantee you, as soon as someone can locate a handbell, or if I can figure out how to work a soundboard on Zoom without paying the premium price for it, I'm going to eventually have this set up where it's like the Game of Thrones meme. We're going to shame every single person who put in a Sunday parlay leg that did not hit. So looking at our previous Sunday parlay, we had three legs that hit. We had Derrick Henry anytime touchdown score. Great job there. That one cashed. AJ Brown touchdown and Puka over 90. Both of those hit. And funny enough, had someone just bet that same game parlay, you guys would have cashed on plus 407. So you could have made some real money if Scott and Alex Dragon put their heads together and just bet that. Other than that, not a single one of our legs hit. So I'm going to go down the list here. We'll start with mine. Jamison Williams, anytime touchdown score. Shame. Justin Jefferson, anytime touchdown score. Shame. Zach Ertz, anytime touchdown score. Shame. Alvin Kamara, anytime touchdown score. Why are you betting on the Saints to score anything? Is my question as a Saints fan. Shame. Javonte Williams, anytime touchdown score. Dallas offense is broken. Shame. I hope that taught you all a lesson.
Yeah, definitely did me.
Which one? Which one was yours?
I think it was Kamara. No, yeah, Kamara.
Ew. Why?
Yeah, so I've learned my lesson. And
yeah, shame.
He's on the bench.
Yeah, as he should be. Being a Saints fan this year is just so bad because like the whole plan was to tank for Arch, and Arch isn't even doing that good in college football. It's just awful.
Yeah.
All right, can we look ahead to brighter days? Can we look at week 4 in this league, please?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So looking at week 4, my matchup has already started because I thought it was going to be the Trey Benson show. Trey Benson only put up 10 points last night against Nicotine Kills. So who knows? Maybe Pat Dragon can get his first win and I might take my first loss here. The projections were not looking good for me. Currently, I'm projected at 120 and Pat Dragon projected at 131. We will see if his superstars align and actually put up numbers. Let's do another matchup. Let's look at Christopher Glennon and Scott Sharp. So we have Bauer Power versus Just Win Baby. Bauer Power started the week off with JSN, who looked good in last night's game, but put up 13 points. Not a crazy amount. He was projected 16.5, so he underperformed just slightly, but 13 points, not a bad start going into the week.
Yeah, this is my second most anticipated matchup of the weekend. Going to be heavily keyed in on it to see what happens because you have a 1-2 team versus a 2-1 team. Are we going to have a big swing where somebody goes 1-3, or are they going to even out and we're going to have 2-2 teams? So I think there's a good bit on the line here because once you start piling losses, it is tough to swing that momentum the other way. So we'll see how they turn out. I think right now Scott's showing a pretty low projection, but I believe that's because Jaden Daniels just got ruled out. So we'll see if he does any roster management before the matchup start.
All right. Next matchup, we have Nick Gravely facing Alex Dragon. This is an East Coast matchup. Both teams sitting at 2-1. Currently, Alex Dragon projected to win 139 to 130. Alex Dragon had Marvin Harrison on the bench, which after his performance so far this year, I don't blame him. But Marvin Harrison last night finally getting his breakthrough touchdown where he really proved to himself that he could do it. All it took in that game was missing a couple routes where he was nowhere to be found, and also a drop that led to an interception and him getting smoked by about 4 different Seahawks.
Yeah, honestly, though, that makes it so tough as a fantasy manager. It's like, do you start him? Do you not? What Marvin am I going to get? So it's good to see that he's kind of turning around, but also, is that going to play mind games to Alex later in the season? Is he not going to know what to do? So we'll see.
I'd be curious. Alex Dragon's team is pretty stacked at wide receiver with Malik Neighbors, Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison, and Jacoby Myers, and Michael Pittman. So he's got a ton of receiver talent. We'll see what he does going down the rest of the season. Looking at another matchup here, let's look at Sweet Mahomes. So Corey Eller versus your team, McBride, our way to the finals. Go ahead and tell us about the 2 players you had playing last night.
Yeah, made a decision, last minute decision to pull Alvin Kamara and put Kenneth Walker in there. So they both play. Well, I'll start with Kenneth Walker. He did close to what he was projecting. I think there were a couple opportunities where he could have had a little bit bigger of a game than he did, but it is what it is. And then the other one's Trey McBride. He's just solid week in, week out. Would love to see him get a touchdown just to add a little more every now and again. So we'll see. I think right now I'm projected to lose. So hopefully Lamar Jackson and the Lions can turn it around for me again and put up some big numbers.
Yep. Currently projected to lose 128 to 121. That's a 2-1 team looking to take down an undefeated Wesley Fall. Now let's look at the last matchup here. Gavin versus Alex. These are two 0-3 teams looking to get off the schneid and get their first win.
Yeah, like you said, we're going to have an 0-4 team, and that might be season over. That might be the kill shot. So, what team is going to scrap, claw, and dig their way out of this and get the W? It's going to be. This is my number one anticipated matchup. I'm going to be keyed in on this all Sunday, maybe even Monday if they have players, seeing who wins this one. So.
I can see your phone overheating from the bullshit trade offers you're going to send the first 0-4 team.
Yeah, so my wife is pregnant right now. We have scheduled an induction for Tuesday if she makes it to Tuesday. So this might be the last weekend I can really hone in, start sending out some trades, assuming she doesn't go into labor, So it may be an active Sunday for me. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, hopefully we have lots to celebrate. Congratulations, Wesley. We're all super excited for you. I think your daughter being born is going to have two awesome parents, and we're super happy for you, even if one of her parents sends out bullshit trades to all of his friends.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. And with that, we will see you guys next week. Have fun this week. Good luck to everyone except for Pat Dragon.
And Corey.
All right. Wesley Hate Week continues. See ya.
See ya.